was a great pregnancy.
Anna Rice did all the right things.
I was sure to take my prenatal vitamins every day with my folic acid and take good care of her, as I had learned.
Even with good prenatal care, regular visits to her physician, and a full-term pregnancy, Anna and her husband Tate were not ready for what they were about to hear.
I can still remember the day going to the hospital thinking, hey, we're just going to be bringing a daughter home in a couple of days. And I was in the delivery room with Anna, and I could tell something wasn't right. I could tell by the way the reaction of the doctor something wasn't right, but I was trying to stay calm for Anna. I could tell that, you know, when she'd had her, they were trying to clear her throat and clear her passages and everything, and just something wasn't right, and they weren't saying much.
She was taken from the delivery room, and we knew something was wrong then because she didn't cry. Then a few hours later, or it seemed like hours, it was probably minutes, they were able to do whatever tests they do and figure out what was kind of going on with her, and they knew that she was sick enough to be rushed immediately to the NICU at Brenner Children's Hospital. So I didn't get to hold her after she was born. I didn't get to see her after she was born. They wheeled me to the NICU at Forsyth Medical Center where she touched down. I was able to touch her. Somebody lifted her up and put her next to me so I could touch her cheek. And then they took her straight to Brenner, where she remained for overnight, and I was at Forsyth.
I was away from Anna. I don't think I saw her again that night until around 9 or 10 o'clock. I finally got away from the hospital from Sally, and she was settled in at the NICU, and went over to see Anna. And you know, that was tough. That was, you know, we hadn't seen each other all day, and we had to come to grips with, you know, what do we do now? You know, where do we get the answers for all this?
At the end of that long day, there were many more questions than answers. Anna and Tate knew that Sally had been born with Down syndrome, but there was more, much more.
Still hearing those words, you know, hours later, that, you know, your child has Down syndrome. I can still feel that feeling today. I know what clothes I was wearing. I know the feeling, and it wasn't a good feeling. We knew nothing. I mean, I didn't know anything about Down syndrome other than, you know, an appearance of a Down syndrome child. So it started from that day. I mean, it wasn't good. She had Down syndrome, but there were so many other complications that she had on top of the Down syndrome.
At that point, we knew her heart, something was wrong with her heart. We knew her stomach and her esophagus were not attached. We knew she couldn't eat. We knew that they were going to have to intubate her, and that's a scary place to be with an infant.
Baby Sally was facing numerous serious medical procedures and would be hospitalized for months. It was a lot for Anna, Tate, and their 3-year-old son, Will, to deal with. But they weren't alone. Family, friends, and medical staff surrounded them with help and support.
We had a huge family support. I mean, my parents live here in Winston. Anna's parents live in Lenore, close by. And our kids are so lucky to have 4 grandparents that love them to death and would be there, you know, as soon as you called them, and they were there around the clock.
Finally, after nearly 5 months of neonatal intensive care, the juggling of work schedules and childcare, very early mornings and extremely late nights, and a lot of medical procedures, complications, and surgeries later, baby Sally was ready to come home just after Christmas.
Sally was in the NICU from August 2nd when she was born until December 27th. So we got a late Christmas gift that year and got to bring her home.
But coming home didn't signal an end to Sally's problems. She was still very fragile and life would be an uphill battle.
I was hoping against hope that, okay, we're home, we're coming home now, great. You know, I think my wife knew deep down inside, well, you know, this is just the beginning.
When we were released from the hospital, we were never out of the hospital for more than 30 days during that first year of life, and then several years beyond that.
Those early days presented many difficulties, but also opportunities and thoughts of what the future might hold for Sally.
I had a close friend who had a very sick child at the time who was visiting me, and she had had a child who was very challenged, and she shared with me a picture of her children taking a bath together. And that became my dream for Sally, is for her and for Will. And I didn't know then that I would have Gigi. For my children just to be home, to be able to take her home and give her a bath. And It sounds silly, but that was my dream. So to have her home and in the bathtub and giving her a bath was really neat when that finally happened.
Today, Sally is a happy, energetic 11-year-old. She loves to sing, play, and spend time with her family. Sally still faces a number of challenges, but she doesn't face them alone. She has a loving family, countless friends, and a medical community armed with a wealth of knowledge, thanks in large part to research funded by the March of Dimes.
Your mission at the March of Dimes is to help premature births, healthy babies, any baby that's coming into this world. It's important for us to give back to that because we all have babies, whether they're healthy or not healthy. We have a baby in our life. It may not even be yours, but it's a family member, and that family member has been touched by the March of Dimes and the research that they've done. For instance, anyone that has a child with Down syndrome, the March of Dimes has done $15 million worth of research to help those babies come into this world a little healthier and to help those babies when they're born. And that's just one diagnosis. There are everything you can imagine they have touched in some way with the work that they've done for healthy babies and for babies that are not so healthy.
Sally Rice has a bright future. She enjoys life and impacts the lives of everyone she comes in contact with. Her mom and dad have hopes and dreams for her, many of which have already been realized.
She's great. She is able to bathe herself, take her own shower. She runs around outside. She fights with her brothers and sisters. She is the most loving child, and she is just amazing. I mean, every day with her is a treat. And I'm not sure, I don't know, maybe God felt like I needed to have her to be reminded that every day is a treat.
You could have the worst day in the world and come home and she's gonna have a hug for you. She doesn't care. You know, she's always gonna be there with a smile and wanna dance and wanna, you know, sing or do whatever and play, you know. So it is a blessing. It's a blessing to have her.
My hopes and dreams for Sally are really simple, and they probably are what we should dream for all of our children. I just hope that she remains healthy. I hope that she continues to learn and find things in her life that challenge her and bring her joy, and that she gives back to the rest of the world. And I think she does all those things every day.
You can make a difference. Won't you please help us help them? Thank you for supporting the March of Dimes.